So you blew the whistle on DHS. The last time you spoke to us in the shadows, you told us about some violent criminals, including members of the 18th Street Gang, obtaining work visas, applying to sponsor unaccompanied minor children.
We know what they're involved in, specifically sex trafficking, who's trying to become the sponsor for one of these children. If in that time you inform the U.S. government that you have some type of fear of that your life is in jeopardy, and you'll put in what's called reasonable fear, and then there's also one called credible fear. Once you make that declaration of my life is in danger, I may be harmed if I'm returned home, you're taken off the watch list. And so that makes it the giant loophole.
Are you willing to go public?
I am.
Tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Stevenson. I'm a federal employee with the Department of Homeland Security. Officially, I'm an intelligence research specialist for USCIS.
So these guys have trafficked, kidnapped, smuggled children, and they're let into the country because they claim a, quote, reasonable fear for their safety if they go back to their home country.
Correct.
And that, in your view, that's a loophole.
Well, it is, because it's an informal interview done with an asylum officer in which if there's any evidence provided at all, it's not able to be viewed outside of their own workforce.
Do they deny the reasonable fear?
You will see plenty that get picked up by Border Patrol or CBP, and in the initial interview, they ask them, like, do you have a fear of being returned home to your country? You will see all the time they say no. And then the day later, 2 days later, when they begin the processing to be removed, they will then say, oh, no, yeah, totally, I have a fear to be removed.
So eventually, they'll get the reasonable fear expectation, they just have to keep appealing it.
Yes.
So there's no
brakes on the car.
What made you decide to go public?
This is going to be the biggest change to immigration policy in my lifetime. It's being done without anybody knowing what's going on about it, and there's been no coverage for the American people to know what's going on.
So what are we looking at here?
This is an email sent out by the director of USCIS, which notified us about a rule change coming forward, which is going to shift the adjudicative authority of defensive asylum away from immigration judges and giving it to asylum officers, which are USCIS.
Okay, so this is public information?
It is, yes.
This is a proposed rule. They want to expedite the adjudication process to get immigrants into the United States. Is the USCIS a taxpayer-funded agency?
No, so USCIS is fee-funded. All of its operations, all of its cover, overhead, everything is based on the fees that are filed by aliens when they adjust. Aliens, of course, paying anybody who's not a U.S. citizen.
Why should people be concerned about the USCIS charging these fees for these processes?
There leaves very little accountability to the public when this kind of operation exists. And when you couple that with giving the adjudicative authority away from an immigration judge to an asylum officer, you're removing any type of public pressure that they could apply on policies that they're creating then. If the asylum officers get this ability to do so, I will say it's going to be a rubber stamp of immediately getting credible fear or reasonable fear to be able to stay in the country if they're going to be deported, but then an immediate process right away to show that they're going to be getting defensive asylum. And that's going to exist very quickly, also their path to citizenship. Within a year of getting defensive asylum, they can adjust their status to a lawful permanent resident, or an LPR. 3 years from there, they can apply to naturalize to become a U.S. citizen. So it's fast tracking, and that's the only thing that this is looking to consider. In the actual rule proposal, it's looking to make it quicker. That's it. They don't want a backlog. It's not over until the alien wins. We know what's going to happen. We know that we have no teeth. We have no ability to stop any type of actual benefit being provided,
right.
Whether the person is a TOC alien, a terrorist, a nefarious state actor, all sorts of them.
Not over until the alien wins.
Right, because they'll just appeal whatever the decision is.
And eventually win.
They'll keep going to court until they win.
You're telling me that the transference from immigration judges to USCIS effectively means no accountability and...
There'll be none. Again, USCIS is a fee-funded agency, so it's not like even Congress can really put the squeeze politically.
And this has inspired you to come out to Project Veritas.
It has.
What is your employment status right now?
I'm a day-to-day employee. I currently work for headquarters under USCIS, but I'm a remote employee.
So what do you think they're going to do in response to you speaking to me?
I will lose my job.
Are you afraid of that?
No, because I think this is more urgent for people to realize, because this policy change is going to continue to drive in any alien that they deem fit. This will drive a massive swing in immigration law.
So there's a website, regulations.gov, your voice in federal decision making. I've frankly never heard of this before. And you can attach files and comment on what the federal government is doing. So this appears to be a call to action for American citizens to be engaged, to let their voices heard to the bureaucracy there in the federal government.
Correct. And this one ends the 18th. Will not
October
be included.
18th.
October 18th, yes.
What's next for you?
My take right now is not focused on myself enough to get beyond this point. My point right now is this thing has to get done first. I've been doing federal service for basically my entire career. I did 8 years in the Marines. I contracted for 2.5 years after that, but for DOD. And then I've been working as a federal employee since 2012. I've been there for 17.5 years. Like, I'm not going to get my pension.
You're giving up your pension.
Well, I'm not going to get one because I won't have enough time anymore.
And you're going to inspire other people to come out, right?
I hope. But a lot of it is too, because I do tell my kids, like, you always have to do the right thing, however you define what's right in your life. Like, you have your own moral compass, follow it. There's more out there than just you. So when you come across something that's wrong, you have to be willing to stand up to it. And if no one does, then it's on you, you have to.
Some people oscillate between despair and hopelessness, and I think you said something a little profound.
I wouldn't say it's going to be, it wouldn't oscillate. I would say it's more of an order, in which it's going to be despair than hope.
So you're actually hopeful.
I am.
How so?
Because the despair part is realizing all these things going on right now. This is just one small part. When people leave comments on that page, and when people call their representative, when they call their senators, however they want to do it, I think that's going to be a good start.
So you think it'll get worse before it gets better?
Yes.
Sort of has to get worse before it gets better.
It's like a sickness. You're going to get sicker before you get better.
Power, Deception, Propaganda. A new book by James O'Keefe. Pre-order now at AmericanMuckraker.com.